And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're looking at Campus Cafe, a game where you're going to go and get drinks and stuff on the college campus. This is a worker placement game, not really a worker placement game, I guess a dice placement game, where you're going to be basically getting the drinks that you need to fill people's orders. There are several levels in this game: base game, advanced game, super advanced game, what have you. But at its core, you're going to be rolling dice, getting stuff, and delivering it. Let me show you. Now in this game there are several levels of rules, so I'm going to kind of just talk basically about the base one with occasionally talking about some of the advanced stuff. Players are going to each start with a waiter or waitress. These are all essentially the same, although again you can play the advanced where they'll all have a special ability. Some have the ability to hold more resources. Some can do various things or give you bonuses. Or you can just play basic like this. On a player's turn, you're going to roll 2 dice. These dice show various colors: red, blue, and green. You then will place the dice on matching spots on the board. Now, when you place the dice on the board, you will get the resources. So if I place a blue die here, for example, it gives me 3 of the brown coffee resources. I can also go to these spots here. Any colors can go here. Here I can get money, which is points. Here I can turn pink or green resources into yellow, black and brown resources into pink or green, or 3 of anything. I can change up. So these are various places that you can place your dice, but it's mostly going to be getting resources and putting them on the cards here. And the steps are written right here on the board. You roll the dice, you get the resources, you put the resources on your plate, then you can fulfill the orders down here of various customers. The orders are pretty simple. These guys need 3 black cups of coffee. So you put them there, and you're going to get the reward at the bottom. So you'll fulfill them, you'll store things here from round to round, put them here. These symbols here can get you bonus points and things again in an advanced game. Once you're done, you will flip this over, and it will give you a special ability that you'll have the rest of the game. So for example, this one here gives you another plate that you can put things on. This one here gives you these different cups of coffee. Sometimes it's immediate things, sometimes it's bonus. Sometimes they'll give you discs that you can use for various things to put on these to kind of give you a discount as the game goes by. Sometimes when you get the money for the person, you'll also get a gift, and over here it will show you what the gifts get you. And then more customers come out. And then at the end of the game, you're going to get special bonus points if you have the most of different things. Like if I have the most of these couples here, hipsters, I guess they are, then I can get extra points based on how many players are in the game. And that's it. You're just going to take turns going around the table. There's other, other cards that are provided. You can change things. This is the base side of the board. On the advanced side of the board, there's some differences here that you can see. It's mostly down here. When you get gifts, you'll be able to do various things, and that's pretty much the game. I mean, there's a lot more rules involved to it than that, especially when you play the advanced game. But basically, you're rolling for resources, getting those resources, fulfilling orders, and getting points for fulfilling those orders. So unfortunately, the rule book is written in a way I'm not a big fan of, which is where they tell you what to do and then are like, an advanced game, do this, or down here, if you're playing with this rule, do this, 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 or this, and that's really confusing. It's better just to have listed all the rules and then later on say these are how the advanced rules come in. Honestly, when you're looking for something, it just makes it a big mess to go through. They then talk about the advanced game, but they've already talked about it throughout the whole book. And that's one of the problems with the game, is just that the game itself is not that complex, but there is so many little rules and things that are not necessarily clear from the rule book. Piece-wise, component-wise, I love these pieces. They're great, nice big chunky wooden bits, fairly easy to tell apart. The only problem with telling apart things is the green and red dots are going to be a problem for some folks who are colorblind. The customer cards, again, have a ton of information. You're going to have to constantly be looking up, like, what exactly does this do? I mean, the plates are easy, adding more plates, but some of them, they give you a resource, that's fine, but some of them you're going to have to look up, and then some of the cards you only use in the advanced game, but it's not really clear which ones you're supposed to use or not, which again is problematic. So the game rules and stuff work against itself. I'm pretty happy with components for the most part, other than the dice. But there's a lot of symbology and stuff, so it could be confusing for new players. There's a lot I like about this game. I like the theme. I like the idea of the whole barista theme is a pretty cool one. Get the drinks, get the milkshakes, get the coffee, deliver it to people, slowly improve your services and stuff. I like all that, and like I said, I like the components. The whole thing has a bright, colorful look to it, and it's easy to play-ish. And that's where it grinds to a halt slightly. Because the rule book is this game's enemy. This is the second game that I played from this company, and both games, it feels like they tried to shove everything in the kitchen sink into the box. This game would have been a fine game, maybe with a module involved and said, okay, here now the waitress's special abilities, maybe one other thing. But there's like 10 different module type things, and because they try to mix all those in the rules, it's kind of like, what is going on? And if you play the advanced game, which I have, it almost feels like there's too many rules for how simple the game is. The game is literally roll dice, get resources, turn them in, get points. And then you have all these rules, and you can do this, and you can put this token here, and when you do this, you get a prize, and you take a seat at this table, and then when there's seats at the table are full. And it's just too convoluted at that point for how easy the game really is. And so if I was teaching this to someone, I would basically just play the base game with them. I do like the waitress's special abilities. I like that. I would try to do that, but the problem is if you play with that, then you need to play with some other stuff, and it's kind of hard to tell again, the stuff in the box isn't clearly delineated what stuff goes in what game, and when you flip the board over, the symbology, there's a lot of that. It's just not so easy to understand. So it's like this game could have been much better. As it is, it feels like it's a 1.0 version of a board game. That being said, this is a newer company. I look forward to seeing what they do in the future. I love their marriage of theme to the game mechanisms, and I didn't dislike the game. The game is fine. It wasn't like amazing, but it was a fine game. There's a lot of fine games out there, of course. So this one isn't making the cut for me personally because of just how convoluted it is compared to how simple the game is. I don't mind games that have a lot of rules, a lot of things involved, but then I expect the game itself to kind of be meaty. This isn't really a meaty game. It's a light, almost gateway style game. And if I'm going to teach a game like that to people, they're probably not going to want to have a whole pile of rules thrown at them. They just want to say, oh, this is tickets ride level, collect cards, put trains on the board. Here, collect the resources, fulfill the orders. So we'll see. Maybe there'll be a second edition of this. That would be a really cool thing to see. And I'm very excited to see what games come from this one company in the future. And if you were getting to put this game out, I wouldn't dive and say, don't play that game. No, it's an interesting game. There's probably just a little bit too much inside the box. I know it seems like an odd thing to say. But there's also some people who might really enjoy it too. If what I explained, you might say, hey, that looks pretty interesting. I would still start with the base game and work your way up. That's Campus Cafe. Dice Tower Judgment, a cool concept, but too confusing.